So I just went grocery shopping. It's still early in the morning, 8:25. I have a deal with Valdemar that I will bring him to school on Tuesdays because he has 2 bags. He's bringing a gym bag as well. And that's annoying to, when you ride your bike, all that on your back. So I decided to just go grocery shopping right after. And I needed so much. And then I decided that it was time for me to try a new recipe for new buns. Because apparently I have to eat according to the anti-inflammatory diet. It's nice that there's actually a word for the diet that I need to eat according to, because then I can actually just Google recipes. And I saw this recipe for buns, and I like to have buns in the morning. But the ones that I eat are fabric. This is fabric, right? That's because the name for when it's produced, you call it fabric in Danish. Anyway, so that was me doing that again. It's pre-made, and those are just, when it's processed food, is just usually not as good. Though I think these are kind of okay, but there's still things in there that you really don't know what are, and probably wheat, and I shouldn't be eating wheat. So that's the goal for today. Try and make those new buns. I need to use oats. And these are gluten-free oats. We also eat that for breakfast, so we always need a lot of oats. And then you need cottage cheese. And then I found a pie already dough pre-made, which you shouldn't buy, but I don't want to make it from scratch, and there's probably wheat in there as well. But I will do a dinner pie with meat, not a dessert pie. And then my son asked me to make a lasagna, so I also bought stuff for lasagna. So I have 3 things to make this morning. And I haven't had breakfast yet, so I have my breakfast in the oven. So I'll just pack all this stuff away. And then I have 3 different things, 2 dinners and buns. And I usually do it in the morning. So I know most people would probably prefer us too, that the dinner is just fresh out of the oven. But I can't manage to do it in the evening, and so I have often done it just in the morning or during the day. And I'm home, and I think it's now, because it is now. I can feel it. I have to do it now. I just emptied my grocery bags. All these vegetables are just my snack vegetables for the next, I don't know, hopefully a week. And I hate how everything is wrapped in plastic. These are spinach, and I got them really cheap. That's really nice. That's not even a third of the price. But everything is wrapped in plastic, which is really annoying. But the pears, you can just buy them. You just count how many you want. And then this is a bag that I bring. You buy it from the beginning, and then you rip off the tag, and then you just reuse it. So I've done that a million times already. So yeah, but everything is wrapped in plastic. And so you have organic, try to only eat organic food. So you have organic food wrapped in plastic. It doesn't make sense. I like it when you can just use a rubber band, or when you don't have it in wrapping at all, and then you just pick them up and take whatever you need, instead of having to actually, they decide the amount that you need. So yeah, but those were not organic because I couldn't get organic grapes. So yeah, but I buy organic whenever I can. So, but now I need to put all this stuff away. And in true Maria style, I decided that it was time for me to do the lasagna. the same time as I'm putting stuff away, because my food is in the oven, and when I take my food out, I would like to put the lasagna in the oven. So yeah, I am already working on my lasagna. But I was supposed to put stuff away, so I better hurry up because I already turned on the stove, and I can already hear it over there sizzling, just a tiny bit. The cucumber is really weird. Like, look at the middle part of it. It's so big and it's so wet. It almost grosses me out. But I bought the cucumber, so I am gonna eat it. And also, it's not sour. Sometimes when, you know, a cucumber gets sour, you don't want to eat it, but it's kind of close. And if you cut them too thin, the middle part would just fall out. I've never seen this before. You know, usually the middle part is, you have the middle part, but this is just so big and wet and slimy and gross. But the lasagna is in the oven, so I made it. I didn't burn my bun, but almost. It's very crispy, and I like it crispy, so that's fine. But I almost, you know, burned it. But it's all good. I managed to multitask once again, which I shouldn't do because I can't manage time. So I will focus on the thing I'm doing and I forget about everything else. And because I don't have a sense of time, I won't know how long the bread has been in the oven. And I'm not timing the bread because it's hard to time when the oven wasn't actually warm when I turned it on. So I'll just turn on the oven, throw in the bun, and then leave it there. And of course I should be paying attention. I just put the lasagna in the oven and I didn't time it, and I need to time it because I have no clue when that will be done. You know, usually you can smell it, but that I need a timer on, so I better do that. So I'm actually very double standard, and I don't care. Because I said I prefer organic food, which is true. But I also do a lot of things where it's not organic, and it's processed food, which is far from organic and often not healthy. And the lasagna I just made was a box, so that's processed food as well. The meat was fresh. And I didn't add a lot of vegetables, but that's a whole other deal and case, because I have been in a state of emergency. I have been so overloaded and stressed and burned out for so long that I have been in survival mode for so long. And one of the things I need, if I'm making breakfast and I have children, dinner. If I'm making dinner and I have children, so I need to feed them, right? And at some point I was so sick that I wasn't actually able to manage that either. At one point, because I was in flight or fight mode, like really, really bad, and I didn't have any help, so I was alone, and I had a 1-2-year-old, and my daughter's almost 3 years older than her brother, so she was about 4 or 5 years old, and I knew that it wasn't good for them if I was in fight mode, right? So because then I would be very aggressive, which I really didn't want to be towards my children. So it was better for me to be in flight, which was a very passive mode. Like I was hardly there, but I wasn't aggressive. So that was a better choice for me. And so some nights I would just bring the children into the shower, which sounds weird, but that was contained and it was nice. and warm, because I would turn on the shower, of course, and we will all three be sitting in there on the floor, bringing toys into the shower, and I would feed them ice cream. I would have a container of ice cream and a spoon, and I would just feed them. And they still talk about that as they loved it. So being in a situation where you were so bad that you could only breathe, and then come out of it having happy children, that is like, I don't even know, well, that situation, because there were other situations that weren't good. And I felt so bad and so sorry about that I have worked really hard many years after that to correct that, especially towards Valdemar, who was just at some point a very angry baby. And I have cried my tears because of that. And I've talked about it because I want to talk about it. So me talking about it now is not neglecting my children. I was at one point, and I didn't even realize because I was so sick, and nobody came to my aid. Nobody looked at me and said, hey, something is wrong here. I kept fighting. So I guess it kind of looked like I was doing a great job, but I wasn't. But also then when I started making dinners again, I would make lasagna from a box. And they like it. They like the taste. And as I said earlier, I don't like lasagna very much. And I don't know how to make it. I do like this one because whatever spice in a homemade lasagna that I don't like apparently is not in there, or it has been covered up, I don't know. And I haven't had the time to look into a different recipe. So yes, I am very double standard because I am on my way. I will never get there. There will be so many times where I will choose the easier way because it's more important to have a good relationship with the people around you than to eat the correct food. So there will be a lot of times where I choose the easier way because it's so hard for me to do dinners. I have to do things in the morning. In Denmark we say that, I know in English I think you call it a morning and evening person. In Danish we call it an A person if you're better in the morning, and a B person if you're better in the night. And I'm like a triple A person because I work in the morning. I do not work at night, and night starts early for me. So yeah, I will continue doing those crappy solutions, but I am still better because I will eat a lot of vegetables. I did have this lasagna and I only had a smaller portion, and then I ate a lot of carrots. And the pie that I'm making later today will be the dinner pie will be full of vegetables as well. So even though I chose a pre-made dough for it and processed probably, I will still add in a lot of vegetables, so it will be better. So I'm working on it, and I am very double standard, and I'm okay with that. So yeah, I'm about to start the dough for the buns. It's basically oats and cottage cheese and eggs, and you have to blend it and then just leave it for 5 to 10 minutes and scoop them up. So we'll see how that goes. I'm pretty nervous about the taste of them. I like oats, so that's a good sign. And you also add a tiny bit of salt, so I'm hopeful, but I'm also a little skeptical. So we'll just have to wait and see. I need to correct that. I said I love oats, I don't love oats. I like bread with oats in them. I like cake with oats in them. I do not like porridge. That is, sorry, nasty and tasteless. Just the consistency, I don't like it. But I like bread with oats in them. And in Denmark, it's very common to eat oats with milk and sugar. And so my children like that. Well, mostly Valdemar. I will eat it, and I'm adding cottage cheese right now, so I'm also looking at the scale down here. I will eat it, but also feel nauseous afterwards if I actually fill up on them. So I can only have a small portion. I did it again, portion. I can only have a small portion. Otherwise, I'll feel nauseous. So I think it was 350 grams of cottage cheese and 250 grams of oats. And when I talk about oats, they look like that, green. No, it's not actually green because they have been, whatever, done something to them. And now I need my eggs, 4 eggs, and then I will add some baking powder and salt, and then I will just have to blend. So I just blended, and I did unplug it because right now I'm trying to scoop out the dough. It actually kind of looked like dough now. I would have liked to blend just a little more because I still have some of those from the cottage cheese that hasn't been crushed yet. But my blender is getting really warm. I have 2 different kind of blenders. The one with a jar, and then this one. I don't actually know the English word for this one. In Danish, called a stavblender. Stick blender? I don't know. But it got stuck in here and I was just scooping it out. So that's why I unplugged it. Always unplug a blender when you're cleaning it. You don't want to lose your fingers. But it looks like it. It looks like dough now. So I'll just leave it like that. I would have liked to blend it just a little more, but yeah, it's getting warm. It was supposed to rest. Oh yeah, I added a teaspoon of salt and a teaspoon of baking powder if you're interested in the recipe. And now it's supposed to rest for a little bit and then scoop it on to baking sheet and then just put it in the oven. I'll have to get back to you on, I think it was 180 degrees Celsius for 20 to 25 minutes. And then you need to look at them, and because all ovens are different, so check on them and make sure. I wonder if you can do this with this kind of dough as well. Usually when you bake bread, you can knock on them, and if they sound hollow, then they're done. I don't know if it works with this kind. I don't even know if they rise that much, because usually it's the wheat that does that, right? Does oats do that too? I'm not sure. Well, I'll leave it to set for a little while. So this is the result before I put them in the oven. I did blend just a little extra. I gave my blender a break, and then I dipped it in water to loosen, just to be a little wet and to be able to loosen the dough up a little bit. And that helped, but it's really hot again, and I'll just leave it at that. And I did say 180 degrees in Celsius degrees in the oven. It's hot air. It's hot air. I googled the word, and I'm not, I don't cook in English, so I don't know if that's an actual word. So, but I tried to Google it, and it's just called hot air. I just took them out of the oven. It's really hot standing right here, but they have a funny smell to them. It's probably the cottage cheese. we'll just have to see how they taste. So they are more bouncy. Well, that's good that they are bouncy, but they're softer on the outside than I had hoped they would be. Oh, now they smell more like oats. They're still warm, kind of hot. Not what I had hoped, but I guess they're okay. I don't know if I should have baked them a little longer. They're softer than, I don't know. I was afraid they would be like eggs. Often when you mix in a lot of egg, you can get the consistency of like just eggs, like like an omelet, but it's not like that. That's good. So, but that was it. So if you feel like making these, you should try it. They are actually okay. I still don't like the smell. They're weird to me, but maybe they're better. Maybe they won't smell as much when they're cooled off, but I could eat it and maybe toast it a little bit. So you should try it.